Sawadee. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to INGRS Industrial Thailand Public Company Limited's announcements on the performance of quarter one 23. My name is Nur Sharizat bin Saidin, the Group Chief Financial Officer of INGRS Industrial. Joining me today in this event is our President and CEO, Mr. Hamidi bin Maulud. Please welcome Kun Hamidi.
Sawadee.
So for today's session, after we're going to present our performance for quarter one by our President. Then after that, I will provide an overview of the financial performance for quarter one. We will then move to the question and answers, during which both of us will be available to address your inquiries and provide valuable insights to you. Without further delay, I would like to invite Mr. Hamidi bin Maulud, our President and CEO, to commence today's session. Please, Hamidi.
Thank you, my colleague Kun Sharizat. Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed shareholder, respected analysts, distinguished journalists and honored guests and viewers, I'm very warm welcome, heartfelt appreciation for everybody who can be joining us today. So we are glad to announce our INGRS Industrial Thailand Public Limited for the first quarter 2023. It's an honor to have everybody here today. So I will be covering the presentation for the quarter one financial 2023-24. So my presentation will cover all these areas of the automotive industry performance for quarter one 2023 and outlook 2023. We review also the product overview of INGRS in totality, INGRS business outlook moving forward. As part of our explanation of the effect of our revenues impact for the past few years and moving forward, we'll explain also on the INGRS business timeline to highlight on how as a tier 1 or tier 2 suppliers development together with the car makers OEM. Then we share a quick update of INGRS customers within the region. And most importantly, I think we will cover business expansion and future product for INGRS. Later, the financial numbers quarter one will be presented by my colleague, Charizat. Okay, just to cover the historical total industry production for Thailand and Indonesia. The rest for Malaysia and India have recovered from pre-COVID numbers. So for both Thailand and Indonesia, we expected the TIP, total industry production, to be recovered by 2024. Going for total industry volume or domestic sales, about similar situation also persists. Thailand and Indonesia have yet to recover. For Thailand, 1 million domestic sales car unit. For Indonesia also slightly over 1.03 million yet to recover. But Malaysia and India covering about 604,000 and India about 3.9 million have recovered fully last year in 2022. For both countries, Thailand and Indonesia, similarly as TIP also will be expected to be recovered by next year, year 2024. Okay, covering on the quarter one automotive industry performance, this is for January and March. According to respective automotive association, the first quarter have risen production for production volume, except for Thailand. The rest, Thailand, Malaysia, Indonesia, and India have recovered for production about 0.8% for Malaysia, Indonesia about 4.1% better than last year, and India about 6.9%. For domestic sales against last year, also Malaysia showed a very big improvement, about 14.8. This is to launching of new models and acceptance of one of the biggest customer for INGRS is Oppday on the models introduced. Indonesia about 3.4% and India about 4.4%. For Thailand, the sales, domestic sales is down by 6.1% due to a few reasons. I think including rigorous standard operation credit, delaying by customers, buying cars due to the economic situation. We're going to, this is for the outlook for the whole year. I think it's quite encouraging for Thailand. Thailand will show a production increase about 3.5% and also sales about 6%. Unfortunately, Malaysia will be down as compared to last year by 10.3 against also for production and 9.8. This is due to the fact that the previous year, the Malaysian government had reduced incentive program, which is the tax exemption, which have ended last year, and that reflects in the total demand for production as well as sales for the cars in Malaysia. For Indonesia, for production is about the same as last year, but declining sales, domestic sales about 7%. And India showed both 2.8% and also increase for 5.1% moving forward against last year. Okay, covering for INGRS product, this is for overview for INGRS product to all the viewers. We are covered by row forming product also, and also we have three major product: row forming, stamping, and also die making. But also we have also automation related to our product core. So for row forming, basically into door modules, exhaust system, and sealing system. This is including for PVC, PP, and TPO, and TPE for sealing system. Okay, moving forward to our next stamping, which is one of our biggest revenue contributor. So this is basically covering also module, heat management, underbody, side structure, and others. So we are currently able to produce high tensile up to about 1,800 megapascal, including aluminum sheets, and also embossing technology used for heat protector. So this is basically one of our core business product. Okay, die making also is very important in the whole supply chain situation. So we are able to design, fabricate, and then maintain automatic die, which covers fine blanking and stamping, normal stamping, and the range from small, medium, and so large, covering steel as well, casting for casting dies. The last but not least is our automation solution provider. So this covers our automation arm and also for the group. Is under Talent Synergy. We cover for the whole operation as well as the company within the region, covering smart factory, automation, also engineering services. So smart factory cover manufacturing, execution system, production monitoring system, PMS, as well as the rest also. For engineering services, we do the product design and simulation, jig fixtures, specialized machinery, testing equipment, as well as M&E equipment. So I think this is quite interesting to all the viewers outside. So we are sharing our business outlook moving forward. So for Q1 this year, in 2023, we have launched 4 models in total, 2 in Malaysia, and also 1 in Thailand as well, so 1 in India. The one in Malaysia is covered by the model Oppday Asia, the small car, and also Toyota Vios in March. Then we also supplied to the launching of Honda CR-V in March in Thailand, as well as YTB Baleno derivative in India. Moving forward, for the volume in 2023-24, other than the 4 that I mentioned earlier, we are now expecting to participate in a total of 6 models, 2 from Thailand, 2 from Indonesia, as 2 from Malaysia. Moving forward, I think INGRS have been aggressively, the management and marketing team have aggressively start in contact and also seeking communication and channel to be able to support various OEM within the region covering in Thailand, Malaysia, in India, so Indonesia, all the spectrum of OEM covering from Chinese, European, Korean, and also the Japanese within the region, Great Wall, Hyundai Group, Stellantis, CM from Saudi Arabia, and Hyundai Group and Honda. So this effort has been ongoing, and we hope to see the results maybe very soon in upcoming years from now. Okay, as I mentioned earlier, being INGRS business timeline, this is very quite in relation to our performance last few years and moving forward. Last few years, we have invested new investment, greenfield investment in Indonesia, as well as for Hyundai, for stamping major investment for Hyundai stamping in Indonesia, as well as a big major participation together with Kikai, Daihatsu vendor in Japan for the high tensile technology in Malaysia. So as a result, last few quarters we have yet to see the impact, but upon deliverables running through the assessment and so forth, the result will be coming in the near future. So just to share with the viewers, the process of supply selection and product development for INGRS as Tier 1 mostly to car makers in OEM within the region. So normally to register and also to be part of the vendor list, to be able to put to our car makers in the region, it takes between 12 to 24 months. After that, and also once we receive the approval, LOI, letter of intent, then it requires another range, another 24 to 36 months from the day we receive the RFQ towards the first supply of mass production. As mentioned earlier, our product, especially stamping, such as molding, technology, requires the timeline to fabricate equipment, tooling, special machine, and so forth. So this require time. So then heavy investment also from development stage for the land building if required, machinery, equipment, tool and die, and checking fixtures. And depending on customers also, the cost of the equipment, tool and die, checking fixtures are amortized, and some customers are being paid fully upfront. So it depends on the customer. So what I'm saying now in conclusion, from starting to be selected as a vendor process until the mass production will be taking a few years, as well as to continue to be able to develop the future models to ensure the scalability of the project, as well as return on investment, as the investment initially is quite big. So this is what the nature of our business. Hopefully the viewers can understand our approach and also the timeline required from RFQ until investment, and also later return on investment. Okay, going a quick glance on the INGRS customers in totality. I think all we can see here the major OEMs within the region, and our biggest customer is Produa now currently in Malaysia, having multiple opportunities to work with them, and also being very technology driven. And we have in Malaysia also Proton and also the rest. In Thailand, we have in the region also we have Honda and Mitsubishi covering Thailand, Indonesia, and Honda also Malaysia, and all the within the country operate. We are now investing in Indonesia in Hyundai, so a big investment on the moving forward, and also Toyota part of it now. We are now penetrating for Toyota in starting with small within Thailand and Indonesia, but we now getting more and more traction and support for Toyota. As you see the rest, there are also Isuzu, India, also we have Suzuki, very big market leader. We are supplying to them in totality. Then also we are looking opportunity to supply other than traditional, including Chinese OEM as well as European moving forward. Okay, I'm glad to share with all the viewers outside that we are now having a few very significant business expansion. This is the fact that effort from all the management as well the subsidiary to very close relationship and also getting collaboration with major OEM. So the first one is that we are for last few years in 2020 we have started the medium stamping assembly for high tensile suspension in Malaysia. This is quite significant because this is introduction of new technology. So whereby that we are partnering with the ISO vendor which our Kikai technology to supply the new high tensile. So basically also this will be able for us to participate in the future ISO new global architecture or the NGA for Produa for the upcoming models, securing INGRS participation in all these models moving forward. So far, for the last 2 years, the TSB operation has contributed about 944 million in revenue to INGRS Group, and also is a very opportunity to become a technology leader in this high tensile business technology in Malaysia and the region. Moving forward also, then we have first venture into stamping for new customers and new product, which is venturing high stamping in medium stamping in assembly in Indonesia through our Hyundai Korean supply OEM. So this has started back in 2021. Because we are aware that Hyundai will be using Indonesia as a platform for the export market, due to the fact that China revenue and volume is declining, as well as exit from Russia due to the Ukraine war. So this is going to be very important. There's a lot of challenges moving forward. And the two models that have been started the last year, Creta and Stargazer, have been starting to be exported out from Indonesia, and we expect the few models coming in. So we are in the right place and the right segment to participate moving forward, as long make sure that we are in the right perspective in order for us to make sure that we continue to become a supplier of choice for Hyundai, and we can market the medium stamping assembly for other OEM also. So far, the contribution about 792 million for the INGRS Group. The latest acquisition for the group is on the Autokin of the company is basically in Malaysia. So they have two plants which are serving Produa in Shah Alam, Proton and Toyota, as well as dedicated model in for Honda in Malacca. This is very strategic acquisition due to the fact that available facilities that we do not need to invest for servo press. Then collaboration for technical partner with Honda H1 is very important because previously it's not easy to get a dedicated partner for Honda technology moving forward, and also bigger operation scale for operation moving forward. We will acquire 30% of the company and the rest by 70% from Produa. So the revenue will be contributing to the group within 5 year period about 217 million. Okay, quickly on the EV, everybody is mentioned about EV. We are covering supporting aluminium stamping, heat shield, high tensile stamping, aluminum roll forming and extrusion. So this is all in the pipeline within the technology. And also moving forward, we are also collaborating, we're talking to a few high technology provider in various countries in Korea to participate in battery packing and also battery pack and thermal management. Once this deal is finalized, we'll make the necessary announcement moving forward. So the expansion now, together with the technology preparation of INGRS to participate in EV, is in the pipeline. So we hope that we can translate it into a successful venture moving forward.
Okay, thank you, Kun Hamidi. So that was the brief information about our operations and also our product customers. Now I will continue with the Q1 financial year 23-24 on the financial highlights and the results. First, we look at the revenue analysis. The group revenue increased by 57% to 1.5 billion baht as compared to Q1 last year. This is in line with the increase in the TIP or total industry production of every country except for Thailand. For Indonesia, as you can see there, the revenue increased despite the lower TIP. This is which representing the addition of Hyundai to our portfolio of customer. So significant growth is recorded in Malaysia with 94.7% increment from Q1 last year, as well as in India with 56.7% increment as compared to the Q1 last year. For Thailand, recorded a lower revenue, slightly lower revenue of 0.4%. This is due to the lower contribution from our die making division for the quarter. Next is on historical revenue analysis. In terms of the trend from the previous quarter, revenue by product indicates significant growth for stamping business since Q3 last year. This is from the contribution of the new growth engines, which is the IATSB in Malaysia as well as PT-III in Indonesia. The revenue by country showing the same trend with Malaysia posting a 95% growth from Q1 last year. So if you can see that for the roll forming business, the growth coming from Hyundai, which is also supply the roll forming product also supplied by our subsidiary in Indonesia, which is PTIMV. Then if we look at the revenue by country, Malaysia contributed about 60% of the total INGRS group revenue, while Indonesia with 17% and Thailand with 15%. Lastly, India also quite significant amount, contributed about 8% of the total group revenue in Q1. Here, as you can see that the analysis in terms of our concentration of our revenue, top 5 revenue for INGRS consists of about 80% of the total revenue of the group. This is led by Produa in Malaysia with 47% and also Proton with 9%. Both of these main customers are in Malaysia. This was recorded in Q1 this year. Hyundai in Indonesia came in second with 13%. And followed by Honda and Mitsubishi, which completes the top 5 with 6% and also 5% contribution respectively. As you can see that the overall incremental penetration of Produa is very significant to us. The Produa growth basically from the expansion strategy of INGRS in IATSB as well as ITSB in Malaysia. Having said that, other customers' contribution, especially Honda and Mitsubishi, does not representing a reduction of their contribution, but only due to the significant increase of the overall group revenue. Financial highlights for the Q1 has seen a turnaround for our group in terms of the financial performance, both in the top line as well as in the bottom lines. The improvement can be summarized is mainly as a result of a turnaround from our operation, mainly in Malaysia, and continuous cost improvement relating to the increasing of material price and everything throughout our operations in all 4 countries. From the table there, you can see that the revenue significantly increased by 57%. This is mainly to that our subsidiary in Malaysia, IATSB, has achieved their break-even revenue. And significant improvement in terms of the gross margin from 3.5% in Q1 last year to 11% in Q1 this year, mainly due to the mixture of our product mix, which given a higher revenue and also the cost reduction activities overall, especially in Indonesia and India. The quarter also impacted by a higher gain on exchange. This is mainly from the translations of balances in Indonesia rupiah, which experienced a strong performance for the Q1 against the ringgit Malaysia. Finance costs also posted an increase of 52.6% to 44.4 million baht in quarter one, mainly due to the higher loan utilizations for the working capital, as well as to finance all the capital expenditure. And lastly, tax also has posted an increased number, ending up our profit for the period to 76.1 million. Major movement in the tax is due to the movement of the deferred tax, especially in Indonesia as well as in Malaysia. A simple analysis or trend on our gross margin, as I mentioned previously, while the revenue has increased significantly, improvement is also seen in terms of our gross profit margin. This has improved the overall gross margin due to the improve of the overall gross margin of IATSB, which already have reached their break-even revenue. And as well, not to forget also the major cost improvement activities in Indonesia and India also contributed to the better bottom line in quarter one this year. It is important to note here that our line of business is highly dependent on the volume of the industry, which will take us into our higher revenue to achieve our break-even revenue. Once we reach the break-even volume and or the break-even revenue, higher absorption of the fixed cost will translate to a better gross margin. This is what we have experienced, that our gross margin has been hovering from 3%, 3.5% the same quarter last year, and increased significantly 7.7% in the third quarter and 10% in the fourth quarter last year. And quarter one this year, we have further increased our gross margin to 11%. Next is on the sales and general administration expenses. If you look at the graph, there has been a spike in quarter one last year, and it normalized back to about in the range of 175 million baht in quarter one this year. This is mainly as a result of provisional adjustments that we have made at the end of the last financial year. So as that results, quarter one this year recorded a lower SG&A from that realization of the previous provisions that we have made last year. For the PBT, quarter one recorded 87 million baht profit from the operational improvement as well as unrealized gain from product translation. From this profitability graph, we can see that we have turned around from the losses for the previous 4 quarters and recorded a healthy profit of 87 million baht. In respect of the financial position of the group, for the quarter one, total both the total assets and also total liabilities has increased from quarter four last year. This is due to the increase in terms of the revenue and the overall operations of the group. Meanwhile, the profits recorded also had increased the equity level as at 30th April 2023. Some information on the assets. The total asset has increased about 227 million baht. This is mainly from the revenue growth and also contribution from our new models delivery in Malaysia and Indonesia that has contributed to the working capital increase. As well as I mentioned before, the improved cost management practices, especially in India and also in Indonesia, has resulted in higher current assets. In terms of the liabilities, it has increased, but with a lower proportion, with 172 million for the quarter one. This is mainly due to the financial arrangements that we have made to support the capital and also the working capital requirements of the group. And lastly, the total equities increased by 55 million baht, mainly from the profit, as well as the losses arising from the exchange difference on translation of financial statements of the foreign currencies subsidiaries. Financial ratios, the main ratios that we are looking here is EBITDA. For the Q1, EBITDA has shown a stronger position as compared to the previous quarter as a result of the increases as a result of the revenue increases, which provides additional operational cash flows. The EBITDA is closed at 17.7% in Q1 as compared to a negative EBITDA in Q4 last year. Or if we compare again the same quarter last year, it was about 5.6%. This has shown that a significant improvement in terms of our operational cash flows. However, on the debt to equity ratios, it is constant at 2.8 times as compared to Q4, 2.79 times. This is as a result of the same level of borrowings that we had as at the 30th of April 2023, which remain at the range of about 3 billion baht at the end of the quarter. In terms of the returns ratios, both return ratios shows an improvement trend from the profitability that we have recorded in Q1. The return of asset closed at 0.7% due to the higher asset base of the group because of the tremendous growth that we have posted over the years has increased our overall total assets of the group, making the return on the assets is at 0.7%. In terms of the equity, the return appeared higher as the proportion of equity is lower than the total assets of the group. At the end of Q1, the return on equity stood at 2.5% as compared against the negative 2.3% in the same quarter last year. So those are all the highlights that I have in respect for the financial performance for the Q1s and this year. Right now, moving forward, we would like to mention here that we view our progress as reported earlier as far is as a result of a collective effort. Every member of our team, from the directors, top management, to every member of INGRS family, plays a vital role in this journey towards the success. Now, without further ado, I would like to invite our viewers to ask questions or share your thoughts. Kun Hamidi and myself will try to address all of your inquiries if the time permits, as you may have about our performance, future plans, or any other aspects in our organization. So let us begin with the questions. The first question that we have is the company's business is based on seasonal or not? If yes, which quarter is high and less? So basically, we are operating in 4 different countries. Of course, seasonal is one of the factors that can change our performance, especially on the top line. We see that in Thailand and Malaysia, mostly in April, in Q1, that Thailand we have the Songkran and also a long festival in Malaysia. This also would impact lower revenue, hence lower performance for Q1. And as usual, everywhere, in all the 4 countries, the month of December will post a lower performance due to a lot of festivities, Christmas, New Year, and plant shutdowns and all these things. So overall, every quarter would expect to remain constant, but these festivities, celebrations among the 4 countries that we have will slightly impact the performance, especially in Q1 and also Q4.
So I think based on there's a lot of questions, I think we are running out of time. So we thank you for your interest. We will take this question to be answered in our moving forward. All right, is that right?
Okay. No. Oh, we still have time. Okay. The second question is, as of today, how much investment in Indonesia? Is there any space to allocate new machines, equipment? If full utilization, how much revenue of the company?
So basically, in Indonesia, we invested in a totally new plant for the stamping, as mentioned for Hyundai. So we'll currently there's 3 subsidiaries, 3 total company within that. The PT INGRS Industrial Indonesia, as well as PT IMV, INGRS Industrial Ventures, and also the PTET. So these 3 companies, which stamping, molding and such, and as well as small stamping, has been grouped into one facilities. For future investment, in the event that we will secure the next model, we will have to expand the facility, and both the roll forming as well as the small stamping, we need to find to move to another facilities in order to congregate in totality the Hyundai project in one operation for stamping.
Okay, next is number 3, how the company can manage to negotiate a payable within 112 days and can collect the amount receivables by 43 days. So basically, this is our strategy in terms of limiting our working capital financing, where we always negotiate with our suppliers to have a better range in terms of credit terms. So we always negotiate with the supplier to have a longer credit terms, and at the same time we negotiate with our customer to give us a lower credit terms so that we can turn around the operational cash flows quite effectively and reduce our exposure to the financial facilities to cover our working capital needs.
Next question.
Next questions, in the next 1 or 3 years, is there any significant investment or not, or having the investment to reduce the cost? Okay, based on the presentation just now, we have made a few, in fact, 2 big investments for the last 3 years. And we are continuously finding ways how to expand further our business, especially in Thailand, in Malaysia, as well as in Indonesia and India. But there's no concrete projects so far that we can share. Whenever we have the potential or insight of the new ventures that we're going to make, we surely will make announcements to you all. Okay.
The main revenue come from which customer and how much by percentage? I think it's quite obvious that currently Malaysia through our operation is the biggest contribution factor, and based on our presentation earlier, Produa has been the forefront due to the fact that we are part joint venture with 2 companies now, as well as current operation also being transferred from Produa operation to be subcontracted out to INGRS within Malaysia. So currently the biggest is Produa, which is in Q1 is represent about 47% of the percentage total.
Okay. Next question is what is the goal for this year revenue and what is the positive and negative factors? So basically, if you can see, we almost have double our Q1 revenue from Q1 last year. We expect the trend to be continue for the remaining quarters, and for this year, we expect another growth if we compare against the actual revenue that we have charted last financial year. In terms of the positive and negative growth, it's always about the economy. You can see that previously, whenever the world economy impacted, especially on the COVID-19, our revenue had significantly dropped because there's a less demand for cars in the market. So in terms of the negative factors, it's always those factors that beyond our control, which is the hike in interest rates, the overall economy slowdown, war, political. So these are all the negative factors that we are monitoring. And the good thing is that based on the expected volume that presented earlier, there's going to be a growth in terms of the volume. So which means that our business is still can continue as normal, if not a slight growth based on the overall industry growth. Okay.
So next question is on the minimum wage within the countries that we operate. I think based on we are always in forefront to ensure that we comply to all the regulation of each country. So based on that, also we are also in order to mitigate the price increase on minimum wage in the respective country, we also investing a lot on automation as well as opportunity to continue to seek opportunity to increase productivity within the group to counter that. We believe that it's important to address this because I think in our experience for all the countries we are participating, the minimum wage has been a factor to increase continuously based on legal requirement as well as the recent to counter on the inflation and so forth. So we INGRS will continue to address this through increasing productivity, automation, process improvement, and so forth.
Okay. Next questions relating to the finance costs. In the higher finance costs, the company have any policy to reduce finance costs? So let me go back further. Our business is highly capital intensive, so we require higher capital. As Kun Hamidi mentioned just now, on the setting up of a new plant and everything require higher capital. This is where most of the finance costs has to be incurred to cover the capital. So what we are trying to do is that we cannot predict whatever the trend of the interest rate in the world. So if you can see that for the past 6 months, the rates has been increased 3 or 4 times, mostly in all countries due to the recessions that happening around the world now. But what we are doing is that we will try to look at the possible alternative of financing that can reduce the overall finance cost as well as some consolidation of borrowings to better cope the rising interest rate in terms of our financing.
Okay, based on the latest one. Okay, we thank you very much. As we conclude the session today, we really appreciate the support, continuous suggestion, feedback, and also perspective from all of us, from all the viewers. We hope to see you again in next quarter. So hopefully we'll be able to share more positive results and also positive business direction moving forward. Last but not least, thank you very much. And from both of us and INGRS as management and the company, Sawadee Krap and Sawadee Krap, thank you very much.
Welcome.